Hello and welcome to part 3 of the Jack Russell cross stitch. Now I haven't even got it set out yet because I thought I would show you what I do when I'm setting things out. Right, I did put it onto a hoop, but truth be told, I don't like sewing on hoops. I really don't like it. I feel too constrained. I can't get my hands in. I cannot go up and down and up and down. I like to sew along the line. So the hoop came off. Now at the weekend I did a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit, but I more than doubled what I had already done. So you can see, where are we? All the cream here I've done now. Now I'm going to use the same colour, and I'm going to just, because there's a few little tiny little cream just one things to do, so I'm going to get all the cream bits done before I move on to another colour, because that's the way I rock. Now I just need to find the cream. Is this it? 3865, 3865, there you go. Now I've actually used 2 out of 4 of the strands that they've given me, but there isn't a great deal more to do. So I'm really happy that this kit that I got appears to have ample, if not more than enough, threads, because there's nothing worse if you run out of thread. So let's get cracking. Where's my tools? It's another lovely day here. Apparently it's going to get very windy here today. Now I was talking to Claude saying, do I have to be day specific when I post things on YouTube? Because obviously if I say, oh, it's a lovely day today here, and you're watching it, it's a pouring rain, you'd be thinking, but then I've got to realise that obviously you may not watch this video as soon as it comes out. I mean, I might be up to part 376 when you decide to watch from the beginning, and part 376 might be in 2 years' time, in the winter. So I've cut my thread and I'm going to half it, and I did remember to bring my glasses into the office with me, into the shed today, because it's really difficult cross stitching with no eyes. So there we go. 2, 3 strand bits of yarn, cotton, whatever. Right, glasses, needle, threaders in here. When I was sewing in the living room at the weekend, Paul says to me, what are you doing now? I says, I'm doing some embroidery. I says, I'm doing some videos on YouTube, and I thought I would do an embroidery and show people how I was getting on and have a bit chat and tell you what what was happening in life here. And he's like, you do know you're mad, don't you? I says, all the best people are mad to a certain extent. So let's see where these extra little one thingies are for this colour. I'm sure I saw some up here. Oh, they're crosses. Perhaps I didn't. Yeah, I could have sworn there was. Oh, there's some down here, but I thought there was some up here as well. Oh, maybe there's not. Oh, I thought there was more to do around his face, and that isn't. Right, so I'll just continue down here. I could do with doing that bit first. I've got 1, 2 little bits to do, and a stitch there, and then that's this colour finished. Oh, happy days. So Paul says to me, are you doing a video today? I said yes. He says, what are you going to be whittering on about today? I says, I don't know. I says, but it's actually my granddad's birthday today. Well, it would have been if he'd still been here. Oh, he would have been 120. He was born in 1906. But, and actually it would have been my mum's sister, because my granddad that I'm talking about is my mum's dad. My mum's sister, it would have been her birthday on Sunday. So it was quite a family month of family birthdays, should I say. So yes, it would have been my granddad's birthday today. So in honour of him, he used to cook one meal, and when the kids were little, I used to make it for them, and we called it Grandad George's macaroni, because that was his name, George. And the kids absolutely loved it. Everybody loves Grandad George's macaroni. If I mentioned to any of the family, oh, I'm doing Grandad George's macaroni tonight for tea, I would have to do twice as much, because they all love it. So I had some cooked mince in the freezer. It's already been thickened and everything like that, because that's what I use. So I've taken it out, and then when it's ready, I'll cook the macaroni and get the cheese grated and the tomato ketchup, because that's what it is, right? Cooked mince which has been thickened, so it's like what you would have on your dinner. Layer of that, layer of tomato sauce. This is how my granddad made it. A layer of macaroni, but when I was little it was long macaroni with a hole in. It was like the length of spaghetti, but your granddad used to snap it, but it was the length of spaghetti but had a hole in like macaroni. Oh, and it was gorgeous. So we used to get that, and then you would put cheese on, and then another layer in a big pot. So it would be mince, tomato ketchup, macaroni, cheese. My son's just texted me, which is why I just lost my train of thought, because he's very naughty and I'm going to see what he wants. Oh, we're talking about microphones. I asked him if I needed a microphone, a proper separate microphone, because my microphone, I'm just using my phone at the moment, and if I look the other way I don't get heard, and I'm having to speak quite loud just to be picked up. So I need to get the one that he said, which is like a ball. I wanted a one that like came over like as if I was on the radio, but no, he says I've got to get this ball. So anyway, Grandad George's macaroni. Mince, sauce, macaroni, cheese and sauce. Mince, sauce, macaroni, cheese and sauce. And then pop it in the oven. And when it's ready, the cheese is all bubbly, and if you like it that way, brown on the edges. Oh, it's so delicious. So that's what we're having for tea tonight. So my granddad absolutely worshipped the ground I walked on. My grandma and granddad had my mum and my auntie, and my auntie didn't have any children, and my mum just had me. So I was the only grandchild, and I was absolutely worshipped. But my granddad, because I think my mum had been his favourite, because my mum was his favourite, I was his favourite regardless. So we did everything together. Once he retired, we did everything together. Or if I was there at weekend when he was still working, he used to wet shave, and he used to wear a nylon shirt and a holy vest. And he would have his holy vest and his nylon shirt with his sleeves rolled up, and he would have a shave, and he would put the soap onto me, because he had one of those soap dishes with a brush, and he used to put the soap on, the shaving soap, and he used to put it onto me. Then he used to have a shave, then he used to use the wrong side of the razor and shave me. So we used to shave together when I was a little girl. We did everything together, and I loved him as much as he loved me. And when the Roadrunner became a thing, can you remember the Roadrunner used to go beep beep? Well, every time I spoke to him on the phone, he used to go beep beep, right? And that was our thing. And one year, my grandma decided they would go away to Benidorm for Christmas. And I think at the time it worked out at something like £2.50 a day for them to go to Benidorm. So they decided they would go away for a month in December, go away just before my birthday, and come back the middle of January. And my granddad cried every day because he missed me so much. He hated being away at Christmas because he absolutely loved Christmas. I'm not going to say he believed in Santa Claus, but he believed in Santa Claus, or the spirit of Santa Claus. He used to wrap all the family's presents, everybody's. He used to wrap my mum's presents for me. He used to wrap everybody's, and he was a really good present wrapper. And he was just a very organised person, actually. But he was very crafty as well. I've got it from both sides, because my dad's sisters were really crafty too. And one of his sisters, one of our sons is, he's a hairdresser and a chef. He's been on telly. One of our other sons has done stained glass windows. They're all very arty, very, very talented, arty, crafty people. But my granddad was as well. He could make anything from anything. And when my mum and my auntie were little, during World War II, he had an old boiler suit, and he deconstructed the boiler suit and made two, so my auntie and my mum had play clothes so they could play, because it was rationing, they had nothing. So these two little girls running around in navy blue boiler suits. At least I think they weren't navy blue, I hope they weren't orange. But that was my granddad. And when I was a little girl, obviously I loved Barbie, as every little girl did when I was little. And he would make clothes for me Barbie. He got one of his old shirts, one of his old nylon shirts, because he always wore a nylon shirt, and made a Barbie wedding dress with his nylon shirt, and like a veil and everything. Yeah. And he also used to love doing jigsaws. When he retired, he got bored really quickly, because he had worked as a fitter down the pit, as so many people locally here work down the pit. He worked as a fitter, and when the pit closed, he went back to the factory, who opened up in the pit shops, and he worked there on the lathe. And then when that closed, when he retired properly, when he got too old, he used to do his head in. So he did jigsaws, he did all sorts, and of course he had his garden, and he had a car, which when he got older he was absolutely lethal, but that's a story for another day. I'll see if I've got time to tell you about that today. And then when my dad and his friend and the wives went into business, they got a lathe so that he could make the small tools, and he did. He was a lifesaver and a money saver for my dad, but it was a lifesaver for my granddad. And even when he was undergoing radiotherapy and various other treatments, he still used to go in a half a day on a Wednesday and make all the small tools for my dad's business. They would tell them, the lads would tell them what they needed, and my granddad would find a way to make it. He was really, really handy. We used to have a caravan when I was a little girl at Haggerston Castle, up at Berwick. We used to go there most weekends, either with my mum and dad, unless my dad was working overtime, or my grandma and granddad would take us up. And I think we got it when I was about 5. And we used to go to the ballroom to watch the resident band and do the gay gardens and all the slosh and all those daft dances from the 70s, 60s and 70s. But my granddad always had a Mackie Dash, which was Mackerson Stout and lemonade. That was his thing. But he also, I think, he liked a bit of Bacardi and Coke occasionally. But he smoked like a chimney from being 7 or 8 year old, I think, when he went to live in Egypt. And subsequently that got him in the end. But I absolutely adored my granddad. And then when I went to see him when he was really poorly, I got married for the first time in 1987, and he came down, because I got married in Devon. He came down to Devon for my wedding, and it was the last time really that he was out. And he was ill, but he was my granddad. And he was there. I was his only granddaughter, and he had actually wanted to walk me down the aisle, and my mum had to tell him that that was actually my dad's job. But he got there, and then he got back and went straight into hospital, and I came up for a few days to see him. And as ill as he was, when I went in to see him, he looked up and he said, beep beep. And I knew my granddad was still in there somewhere. I'm getting all tearful now thinking about my granddad. It's hard when you lose people that you love like that, isn't it? Really, really hard. And it happens. It happens. I lost my mum and dad 10 years ago. It took me years to get over it. Crafting helped me get over it, because it just took my mind off, because I had to concentrate on what I was doing. I couldn't concentrate on the grief, and that's one of the reasons why I do what I do now, helping people come to terms with things like that by crafting. But that's not what these videos are about. These videos are about me putting the world to rights while cross-stitching a Jack Russell Terrier. Said Jack Russell Terrier is walking around somewhere. Oh, he's over there somewhere. So that was my granddad. I was going to tell you a story, wasn't I? And I've forgotten. Hey dear, how hopeless am I? I'm going to have to get a tissue because I've had a few tears. No, he was a star. An absolute star. Mine, so was my grandma. She had her eccentricities as well. She was a dreadful cook, and she used to make griddle scones on the griddle, which were allegedly griddle scones, but to be quite honest with you, they were more like rock buns. And my grandma's gravy was more like water with a bit of grease floating on it. Oh dear, she was not the greatest cook in the world, but she was an absolutely awesome pianist. Anybody who was more or less the age of my mum, who learned to play the piano locally to where I live, was taught by my grandma. She was really, really good. She was concert trained. She played at the Newcastle City Hall. She played at the Theatre Royal. She could play the minute waltz in a minute, even when she was in her 80s. She lived to be 98. She wanted to be 100. Didn't quite get there. But no, she was a really good pianist. But my God, she ruled the roost. But yeah, my Grandad. And it would have been his birthday today. So happy heavenly birthday, Grandad. Now yesterday, my grandson came over. Actually, he came over the night before and stayed. And he put me through having to watch some Japanese or Chinese, what do they call it? Anime cartoon things about misogyny. The whole family, the whole clan were misogynists. Now, I really, really, really dislike the concept of misogyny. I know quite a few people who are like that. And anybody who has lived with a misogynist, I feel for you, Pep. I really feel for you. It's the way they're brought up, I think. To think that women aren't as valuable as men. I mean, it used to be the thing when I was younger that men's wages were, I think it possibly still is, but men's wages were loads more than what women's wages were. When I went to live down in Devon, I went to work in a Vauxhall garage in Plymouth. I was the credit controller, which I hated because I don't like phoning people up to ask for money. It's not my thing. And I had my immediate supervisor, who had recently moved over when I went down there from South Africa. They left South Africa, her and her husband and family left with what they were wearing. They had to leave everything. But her supervisor, there was a man and a woman, and they both did exactly the same job, both had exactly the same level of responsibility, and he earned almost twice as much as what she did, because he was a man. Because that's the way it rocked in the 80s. When I'd worked at the council before that, it was very, very much equal opportunities, which was, you know, unheard of at the time, but women and men were paid the same. I was a trainee accountant and I was paid the same as the male trainee accountants. But not down in Devon, that's not the way it rocked. I wonder if it's changed, because like it was like the back of beyond. I was wearing clothes, buying clothes down in Devon. They'd been selling in the shops in Newcastle 2 years previously. It was just so laid back and slow, honestly. But yeah, misogynist. So Jack and I watched the video and the film on a streaming channel until they start paying me to recommend them. I won't tell you which streaming channel it was, but it begins with an N. And we watched this anime, and the women fought back, or the woman fought back, and I actually quite enjoyed it, honestly. Can't believe I've just said that. I quite enjoyed watching anime. Yeah, I know. And then his mum came to pick him up, and he says, "Oh, Mum, Grandma liked it. You'll have to watch it." Well, my daughter had a really busy day yesterday, and she didn't have time to think about anime, never mind watch anime. Oh, and when she got to my house, she said, "Oh, Mum, one of your neighbours has crashed into their garage." I'm like, "What?" She says, "Honestly, one of your neighbour's cars in the garage, like crashed into the garage wall." And I thought, I have to go and investigate. She told me which house it was. And the lady who lives there is lovely. So I went to see, you know, if I could do anything. Or there's a couple who live at the other end of the road from us, and they must have heard it. We didn't hear it. And they'd gone out and they'd gotten the lady out of the car. But it wasn't the neighbour whose house it was who crashed into her own garage. It was the neighbour over the road. She usually reverses onto her drive, so what I think possibly that she's done, because I'm fairly certain she's got an automatic, she hadn't been in reverse, she'd been in drive, and she'd gone shooting forward and gone, obviously she realised, so she turned the wheel and turned into the wall of the garage, which is separate from the house, fortunately. So the neighbours from the other end had got her out of the car. She didn't need an ambulance, she was fine. The fire brigade had been called. Her phone had automatically called the police, because she must have been on one of those trackers where when you hit something it phones people for you, so obviously it phoned the police. She was all right, obviously shaken, definitely in shock. The lady whose house it was, I haven't seen her yet, but I'm not sure if her car is okay, because she's only got a little car, so it might have been quite forward in the garage, but the garage had totaled the side of the garage, so that's going to have to come down and be rebuilt, I would imagine. And Paul had been away for a couple of hours with his niece's husband, who's bricklayer, so he says, well, if they need a brickie, so he was going to go and see if she needed a quote to have the garage rebuilt. So it did end up being, well, not funny, but you know, it wasn't funny at all. It certainly wasn't funny for the lady over the road who drove into the garage, and it wasn't funny for the neighbour who lives in the house with the garage. But you've got to make light of these things, haven't you? It was a big shock. And when I was walking down with my dog, because I had him under my arm because I hadn't wanted him to get out, I just got to the house where it was, and the fireman appeared and said, "Have you called your insurance company?" I says, "Not my house." Maybe I look like the lady who lives there, possibly. I think I've got the same colour hair. And she hasn't got a dog, she's got a cat. But no, it wasn't me. Not my house. So, hey, goodness me, I've nearly finished this stitch now. See, this is what happens when you talk while you sew. You get work done. Where can I go with that? Over there. So, yeah, I'm wondering if there's anything else I wanted to talk about to you today. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I was actually at the doctor's this morning. I've got arthritis in my big toe of my right foot, and it's like spreading out to my other toes, and it really, oh, when I'm walking the dog and stuff, I'm really getting some jip. So I was at the doctor's for a medication review today, so I just mentioned it to her, and she has given us a different medication, stronger medication, because it's not nice when you're in pain and you can't walk for the pain in your foot. So she was asking how I was getting on and what I was doing, and I was telling her that I had started a YouTube channel and that I trained as a coach, and that my training, my coaching thing is going to be aimed at women aged, any age really, but women basically over 45 who have either reached a crossroads in their life or have gone through one of life's hard transitions, because I suppose there isn't a transition in life that I haven't been through. So that's what I'm coaching on, and I was telling her this, and I said, oh, I've started a YouTube channel where I'm doing my crafts, and I'm also doing some crafting where you get a kit and then you come online and we make the thing together, like on a Zoom call. We make the thing together, and I do a bit of general coaching at the same time. I've got a journal coaching program that I'm developing, and I've started a group on Facebook called Not the 9 O'Clock Club. No, not the Wine O'Clock Club, aimed at ladies who get to that time of day and think, oh, wine o'clock. We all joke about it, but I think there's an awful lot of women, young ones in particular, who are having liver problems because they're drinking too much. My age group, it was the thing. You went out Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You know, we didn't drink in the house, but we went out, and we were hardcore disco goers and drinkers. And that's kind of gone on. When we go out, when I go out with my pals, we go out for a drink. We don't go out to stay sober. But it's so easy to, oh, I'll have a glass of wine at 7 o'clock. Then I'll have a glass of wine at 6 o'clock. Then, what time is wine o'clock again? Is it 5 o'clock? And before you know where you are, wine o'clock is getting earlier and earlier and earlier. And I think there's a lot of people my age who are frightened to admit how much they drink. And there's a lot of people who are frightened to admit that would like to stop drinking because people will think they're mad. And there's a lot of people who are sober curious and think, what would life be like without alcohol? So I've got this group, Not the Wine O'Clock Club, on Facebook. And it's basically only got a few people in it at the minute because I literally just opened it up. But if you want to go on Facebook and this resonates with you, go on. Facebook.com/groups/ Not the Wine O'Clock Club. And we're all there to help each other, aren't we? We're all there to support each other. You know, do you drink because you need to sleep? Do you drink to forget? You know, and then of course I've got me coaching, which if you need coaching, I'm there. I have helped somebody very close to me who is a recovering alcoholic, and I know what it's all about. But that's not getting any sewing done, is it? I have got one more stitch to do in this thread, and then I'm ready to start another thread. which will be another day on account of the fact that I've been whittering on for over half an hour, just over half an hour, mind you, but that's the way I've been whittering on. Now then, one more cross stitch, and that is my cream thread finished, I think. Wow, oh no, I found the other bit that I was going to do. Oh well, I found it, so I'll do that next time. I knew there was a bit on his head, so yeah, hope you've enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, join me group on Facebook, follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram. I'm here to help in any way I can. If you want to send me a private message, direct message, anytime, just do it. When we grow as people, we all grow. When we support each other, we all support each other. When we're happy, we're all happy. And for me, being happy, that's what life's all about. I only want to be happy. We were just talking about money today, and you know, it's different if, this is what an analogy that I gave. I says, Paul, if you had wanted a Mercedes convertible from being 30, and you'd always wanted this Mercedes convertible, and you got to 60 and you took your redundancy perhaps, or early retirement or whatever, and you had a lump sum and you went and bought the Mercedes convertible of your dreams. That's one thing. But going and spending money on things just because other people think you should have them, or you think that you should have them because other people have them, that's another thing altogether. And that's something I cover in my coaching as well. So this actually has ended up being a bit of a coaching session. But yeah, that's a bit more of the Jack Russell done. All the way there. I've just noticed there's a few little bits up here which I'll do later. And thank you so much for watching this, and please subscribe. And then if I'm subscribing and if you're subscribing, I've got subscribers up and I am in a position where I can monetize, I will be able to share with you the things that I'm using, and then I'll get a little bit back, which helps me to fund making the videos instead of having to do a proper job. I shouldn't have said that, should I? Not to worry. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care, and I'll see you soon. And I still haven't found my little thingy for switching my video off.